Yes, why not both? Why not booger hookers?
Bugbears and hookers?
And that's what we come in on.
It's been a month.
Casino.
It's been a month since we've all been here in this capacity, all of us together as Dawnbringers, and it's like we never left. Hey, Internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Dawnbringers. This is...
Have a brand, Jake. We have a brand.
Yep.
Yes.
It's good to see that you know to keep it up.
Oh, yeah.
This is Season 6, Episode 12, Toil and Trouble. And we will get into the game in just a few moments. Because all of us need a little bit of a recap. We'll get to that in just a few moments. First off, I just want to say thank you to the community. Thank you to everybody. I've said it on social media a bunch, but this is our first game back after our Call to Adventure charity weekend last weekend with Game to Grow, where we raised $5,000 by just a bunch of people playing D&D and pirate games and Star Wars over the weekend. So it was a blast, and we did a lot of good, and Game to Grow are exceedingly over the moon about what we were able to do to help with their programs and help with their kids. So thank you, MTD community, for that. I also want to take a moment to mention our sponsor, Session Zero Clothing. You can check out Session Zero Clothing. They are makers of nerdy t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and accessories for your next Session Zero. If you follow that link in the chat, that's our affiliate code. Affiliate link, use code MTD0 at checkout. You will get 10% off of your order. Of course, we also want to shout out our channel sponsor, Talon and Claw. They are makers of fine wooden dice accessories, DM screens, and now apparently candles. You can get scented candles from them as well. I believe the one I saw somebody post about recently was Acid Splash. Not exactly the scent I'm going for, unless you're you want your area to smell like a Black Dragon's lair or something. I don't know. Yeah, check them out and use code MTDClaw at checkout to get 10% of your order. Or off of your order. You'll get your entire order if you order from them. You won't get just 10% of your order, but you'll get 10% off of your order. This is what happens when I just try to wing it without any copy in front of me.
I'm loving it. I'm here for it.
Well, we recently made the transition on our Monday night streams we do a lot of the promotion and announcements are now done in placards that appear before the stream and during the break time. So I haven't had to do announcements in that one, and I haven't made the graphics for this one yet. So I'm still telling you about things such as domain dice. If you look up above Dan and V's heads there, you will see all of those wonderful domain dice, 176 of them. They are ways that you, the community, can have an impact on the game simply by subscribing, resubscribing, gifting subs. You can donate, or rather tip $5. You can cheer 500 bits. All of that stuff contributes to the domain dice, which there's a good chance they might need them very, very, very soon, or be burning through them if I'm doing my job right. So keep that in mind. The last thing that I want to talk about before we get into this game, because otherwise I'm just going to start rambling trying to remember all the other things, is of course our most important message as mental health ambassadors and just doing our part to help destigmatize the conversations around mental health is that we just want to remind you that you matter. Your presence on this earth makes a difference. And whether or not you believe that, it's true. It's possible that you're out there and you are struggling for whatever reason. First off, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel your feelings, but we want you to know that you don't have to struggle alone. If you or somebody you know is in need of mental health or other services, we encourage you to visit findthehelpline.com. These helplines are available to you to provide a confidential, non-judgmental space for free. They're staffed by supportive people who provide immediate support, counseling, and information. You can access the URL at any time by simply typing !help, as I believe Jeremy already did in the chat. That message will also work its way through the chat automatically, as well as show up along the bottom of our screen. But that is, again, findthehelpline.com. And in that message, I've also added the takethis.org mental health resources page. They have some incredible resources over there, including the findthehelpline.com. So we encourage you to bookmark those sites, save them for yourself, save them for a friend, and remember, you matter. And with that, I think it's time to play some Dungeons and Dragons. So, look at that. The meta domain dice right there as we get a resub. Thank you. You all have found yourselves, the Dawnbringers have found yourselves in the Feywild. You are here attempting to find the of the crew that survived the tragedy of the Evangeline. 8 of them survived, and 8 of them were sent by Evangeline, the elven embodiment of the ship, who also apparently is an archfey, who has become imprisoned here in the Feywild. She sent these 8 survivors to the Feywild to protect them from Arviatris and Auriel in Icewind Dale. You've located one of them in your time that you've been here in Hither, the domain of Bavlorna Blatestraw. You've run around doing a few little errands here and there and kind of getting the lay of the land and realizing things. In the absence of Evangeline, the Hourglass Coven's influence has spread throughout this area, and people are taking advantage of anybody they can. You found Arnold having been with Alden Longscarf and the Harengon Brigands, who is now holding down the fort, so to speak, over there after you very quickly knocked Alden out of commission. As you progress to a part of this region known as Downfall to meet up with Bavlorna, the member of the Hourglass Coven that calls this area her domain, you have encountered a variety of unique characters, to say the least, including a scarecrow with crab hands and a missing head, several talking heads on spikes of various bullywugs of the Soggy Court. You met up with King Gullywup the 19th, who apparently has been deposed as king in a coup, because when you did meet up with Bavlorna, she demanded that you do 3 tasks, 2 of which you had already done. The last remaining task was to get a crate of animal parts, because she's a professional taxidermist. And she sent you to do that, and when you returned, you found her rejuvenating within her pool that you inadvertently helped to unclog with a gelatinous cylinder, along with about 8
gelatinous tube.
Gelatinous tube. along with about 8 of her lornlings, these little frog-like creatures that sort of look like miniature versions of her. Drown, you placed this box that you had taken from one of the bullywug huts, set it on the ground, you opened it up, and as you opened it up, inside you found not various animal carcasses, but the headless corpse of King Gullywup the 19th. Drown, as you open up this crate and see what is inside, what do you do? You're the only one immediately that sees this.
He sort of just looks down, takes a beat, tilts his head to the side, and says, "This will make an interesting trophy."
I guess all of you, mostly Cantrielle. Cantrielle sees, hears, and knows everything, pretty much. That all of these lornlings that are sort of around in this pool area, as you came in, they were all kind of running around, jumping in the water like children. But as you set down this crate, some of them have come out of the pool. Some of them are sort of climbing up on her. And she looks less dry and cracked than she had previously, rejuvenating in this pool. But she's sort of reclining on this floating giant lily pad. And a couple of the lornlings are perched on her shoulders, and they have a higher vantage point. And they start whispering to one another and whispering to her. And she kind of tilts her head to listen to one of them, and then looks at all of you and says, "So, a murder most foul, and you've had a hand in it, I see."
Talmud kind of looks confused. I didn't murder anyone, at least not today.
What kind of message are you trying to send, placing the king of the soggy court, of whom you are emissaries, here at my feet, in my own home?
We just picked up the crate at the hunter's house. That's what was in it.
I'd be more concerned about what your hunter's trying to tell you.
Did you not speak with King Gullywup the 19th?
We did.
Did you not agree to be his emissaries?
More like he agreed to take us on as emissaries rather than full members of his court.
And did you not meet with the usurper?
Yes.
So you agree? You have taken part in this murder?
No.
Bella had nothing to do with murder. So
That
no,
doesn't make
we
any
have
sense.
not.
No agreement was made.
Not agree to help any usurper. We did not give him any advice to do anything of the sort. And we did not agree to be emissaries of the court.
Do you not carry badges of the court on your person?
We actually
They were
have
given
badges.
to us.
You were all given badges as emissaries.
Oh, I thought
Or
we were just
writs.
given a scroll.
No, we had the badges too.
Okay.
So now
were given
you've
to
placed...
us.
Did you not want to stuff this?
By now, his
Kinda
head...
nudges the chest with his...
By now, his head is already adorning a pike, chattering away on the bridge to the court.
That
Of
seems
what
like-
use is he to me?
I
Well,
don't care.
by
Did
my
you want the head
understanding,
included?
I wanted King Gullywup the 19th to remain upon the throne, but now Erig the Baron of Muckstump sits there. You
Well,
have
you stole your
sought
book.
unruly behavior. You have wrought a coup within my realm.
Well, by my understanding,
should I deal with this?
you're as guilty as we. You set us to do a task for you, to retrieve a crate from the hunter's house.
I sent you to get a task of animal parts.
You said to get a crate from the hunter's house. This was the only crate in the hunter's house. You are as guilty as we in this act.
You are trying
You
to
said nothing
twist
of speaking to
my
the hunter.
words.
No,
No,
we're
you
giving
are.
your words back to you. There's a difference. You said to go to the hunter's house. You did not say to speak to the hunter directly. You said the hunter would have a crate for you. There was a crate at the hunter's house.
And you didn't think to look inside to make sure that it was
You
animal
did not
parts
tell us
and
to
not a
look
dead
inside.
king?
You said to bring you the crate.
You.
Rolo could care less what's inside. So no, did not look.
I would like at this point. I want to have a bit of a persuasion off here.
Okay.
Anybody that's been talking, trying to convince her, can roll.
I will gladly pass my roll of advantage to Cantriel.
Let me find my stat block. Yeah. So that would be
Persuasion?
Mm-hmm. I hold on a
There we
second.
go.
You're rolling with advantage.
I just did, and I'm breaking out the calculator because I'm like, am I mathing that correctly? I am
Yes,
mathing
it
that
is a
correctly.
40.
Wait, what?
Cantriel got a 33.
Jeez. She's a little convincing.
Drown got an 11, which is fitting because I really give a crap.
Rolo got a 12.
So the
I don't care what's in the box.
as she's been getting more agitated, the Lornlings have started to kind of, with the exception of one or two of them that are sort of still clinging to her, sitting on her shoulder, one's clinging to her leg. Most of them have started to kind of move away from her and kind of climb up out of the pool, and they're kind of just moving away, like Mom is getting really mad, we don't want to be near her. As you are talking and you are trying to you're saying these things to her, in particular you, Cantriel, she looks down at you from where she's perched on this lily pad and she says, "You are somebody who once called the Feywild home. You know the ins and outs of the rules and the intricacies of the Sealy Court and the languages and the contracts that can be made and broken with simple agreements and disagreements, and you're trying to use your words and knowledge to get me to admit to something that I won't admit to."
You're doing the same to us. What's the difference?
It's time to discard any pretense of sticking to the old ways. In case you haven't noticed, Evangeline is no longer in charge. Prismia has been
Cast Cone of
shattered
Cold.
into 3 separate places. What's that?
Drown casts Cone of Cold. As soon as she says, be gone with the old ways, he just
All right, that's going to be a roll for initiative then.
sure will.
Does he get a surprise since she was...
One
No,
thing.
I mean, I'm
no,
in
that's
plain sight.
the inciting incident for the
Yeah.
initiative.
Hey, double digits.
The
I was gonna say she's speaking my language.
The one
now.
thing I can count on the Dawnbringers for is very quickly for negotiations to just go out the window.
All right.
Barbarian,
The
Jake.
restraint that Drown has been showing this entire time dealing with Bavlorna has been legendary.
I can imagine. Okay, let me open up the encounter because I knew exactly how this was gonna go. I may have already prepared
Again.
an encounter.
We have a brand.
Yep. No
Exactly.
doubt about that. So let me run this. So Fig and Rolo, I have your initiatives in the tracker already. Thorgarn, what do you got?
8 in typical fashion.
8. Cantriel.
12.
Talmud.
I'm gonna get an 18.
18. Drown.
14.
Right, I need to grab a die here. That's gonna be.
Oh, okay, yeah. Have we had a long rest since we stole the airship?
You have
Or the
not.
balloon? Okay.
Don't think so.
I just wanted to make sure because I missed a session.
I'm at full hit points, full spell slots.
I'm at full hit points, but I've used a couple spells.
Okay, here we go. This is gonna be.
I'm still down from where I bounced around in the storm cloud.
So as
I have
Bavlorna,
taken 1 damage.
as Bavlorna has been talking, one thing that you've all noticed is as the Lornlings are sort of moving out of the water and getting out of the pool and moving to the edges, 1 or 2 of them seem to have like pulled towels on and are like huddling underneath them. Bavlorna has very subtly been growing larger. As when you first met her, she was dry and desiccated and shriveled, but she spent a little bit of time in this pool, and it's like a sponge soaking up water. And Talmud, you notice Drown begin to make the arcane gestures. You know that he's had enough of this. It's your turn. What do you do, Talmud?
Well, the reason that Talmud was like keying on to the fact that Drown was ready to go is because Talmud has been like biting his tongue, like waiting for someone else to make the call, because this is not his party, to start with. So he's already got Gerta like drawn, and he is going to go over to the edge of the pool, reach Gerta up, and he's going to say, "Let's cook this bitch." And he's going to put the head of the maul down into the water, and I'm going to use the lightning property from the
Thank
maul.
goodness all the kids got out of the pool. Jeez.
Not messing
nice.
around.
Okay, so what does that do? Is that
It's 8d10 lightning damage on a hit, so I don't know how you want to handle that. You want me to just strike the side of the pool, or?
Well, I mean, it's like a 30-foot square pool. I don't think you're going to miss it. And you're unleashing your lightning into. I think I'm going to have her do a dexterity check to dodge the lightning.
Okay.
So that's going to be.
Treat it like a
Does she have
lightning ball.
disadvantage?
Yeah,
or
I'm going to treat it
anything
like that. She wouldn't.
for being like all up in the water, having soaked it up like a sponge.
So she's floating on a lily pad that's floating on the water. I'm rolling. I rolled straight up for it because she would normally have advantage, but because of the water, give her disadvantage. She fails.
Okay.
Well, what's the DC? It's 15 on Gerta, isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't think there's usually a saving throw. Is there?
There's not usually a saving throw.
Oh no, because you have to attack with that.
Right.
What rarity is the item?
It's a legendary. It's a artifact at this point because it's custom crafted. I would say at the very
17 would be a good
least,
point then.
at the very least, it's a DC 15 for the level of the item, which she got a 12. She would fail, but she's going to use legendary resistance to succeed. So she will take
Which is
half
still
damage.
Half? Okay.
And all of the Lornlings, thank goodness they got out of the pool. There's 2 of them that are still clinging to her, though, so we'll see.
They're hag mini-me's, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not feeling like really concerned for them.
All right. Full damage is 53 points.
Okay.
With 26.
So 26, let me get this here. Okay. So 26 damage. So 2 of the Lornlings that are on her shoulder. So yeah, it'd be this group. As she kind of lights up and just, I don't like it. The 2 Lornlings on her just go, and they just burst. So you've just taken 2 of them out.
Bug zapper.
Yeah, it's just like a bug zapper. And Talmud, as you do that, so use your action to do that. Is there anything else you're going to do? Bonus actions or movement?
No. I'll just kind of not, mechanically ready, but just, stand in a defensive stance, getting ready for
Perfect.
the attack.
Without a word, 4 of the Lornlings that were on the edge of the pool, they begin running towards all of you. And they are, as they take off moving, they just move super quick. And they move so quick that they almost appear blurry as they zip in towards all of you. The first one is going after you, Drown. That's going to be a 15 to hit.
It hits.
A 13 to hit.
Miss.
And a dirty 20 to hit. So that was 2 hits. As they come rushing at you with what looks like daggers that are made of shards of broken mirror. And you're going to get hit twice with that. So that's going to be 10 piercing on the first hit and 8 piercing on the second hit. The second one goes for you, Fig. Comes running up to you, and it takes its attacks at you. That's going to be a 23.
Yep.
Another 23. I rolled 3 15s in a row. 23, 23, 23. As it comes running up to you, Fig, this particular Lornling, it runs right up to you. It sort of climbs up on a part of, there's all these like little tables and boxes and stuff. It scrambles up. It's kind of blurry. It runs up to you and it goes, shh, 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 but it makes the noise. It doesn't actually stab at you. And it leans into you, Fig, and it looks back over its shoulder towards Bavlorna and all the other Lornlings rushing around, and it says, "Widdershins." And it makes that noise again, but it never actually, even though those all would have hit you, it doesn't actually hit you. It actually turns the dagger and sort of like is just touching you with its little green fist.
What did he say?
Widdershins.
Oh, I heard wheat thins. Oh
We're not hearing things
This
well
is
tonight.
product placement in the Feywild. Try wheat thins. They're good with pool water. I'll let you process that for a moment as Talmud, one comes running up to you. And that's going to be an 11, a 10, wow, and an 11. So this one comes running up to you, and I just imagine just it just can't can't figure out where to stab you with this muscular dwarf. It's just like stabbing into your beard hair and not actually connecting with you. And the last one is going for Cantriel. So that's going to be, I hate when they fall behind the things. A 23. Ooh, a 27. And a 17.
All hits.
All three are hits. So those are 7, and 10. So 24 points of piercing as this little Lornling just starts slashing at your legs with this shard of mirror. Drown, you're up.
Just as a quick note, that first stab with the glass dagger just kind of skates off of Drown's stony hide. Absorb the damage with Stone's Endurance.
Perfect.
All right. Right. So Drown's sort of blank, vaguely seafoam green eyes glow with that deep underwater sea green light rippling through it that spreads down his tattoos, gathers in a swirling mote of frost at his palm, and unleashes a massive cold of sub-zero spray and ice shards. So he's not particularly worried about getting every Lornling. He will definitely get the one that stabbed him.
Okay.
And then whatever else happens to be in the cone around Bavlorna. It's a 60-foot cone too. So.
All right, so
That's a con save, DC 21.
Whew.
I see people in chat are asking, is that the donk 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 sound you keep hearing is my dice on D&D Beyond?
I thought they were talking about the wow.
Yeah, that's the dice
that's
too.
the dice fading.
Okay.
I think.
It's
Cool.
I'm using the astral ones, I think.
Oh, I haven't used those yet.
So yeah, the one that was next to you is definitely going to fail.
Okay.
I would say you'd be able to get, because of the proximity to everybody else, I'd say you could catch one more in that. So let me have them roll.
I might be able to get the one that was on Talmud because he and I were
Okay.
standing next to each other.
That one's going to get a 12, which I'm guessing fails your DC
yeah,
as
it's
well.
DC 21.
And how much damage is that doing?
That's going to be 36 cold
Yeah.
damage.
You can describe what these Lornlings now look like as you hit them with that.
Okay, if they were killed by the damage, they are flash
they are
frozen solid with like horizontal icicles from the wind and force of the cold just sort of pointing back off of them.
Absolutely.
Does the
Yeah.
cold do anything to the
Just creatures.
ground Bavlorna?
Just creatures. Nothing to the
Okay.
water.
What's the spell save DC?
21.
That's right. She's going to... She fails it. And she's going to take it.
Oh, all right. As a bonus action,
You said
I
that was
will
30?
Summon... What's that? Sorry?
30 cold?
36.
36, okay.
As a bonus action, Drown will sort of raise his other hand palm up, and some water from the pool will writhe up into a watery tentacle and create a tentacle of the deep.
Okay.
And how far away is Bavlorna from? Like, how far are we from Bavlorna?
So you all basically walked into the pool area, which the whole pool area was like 50 feet square, basically. With the pool taking up most of that space, like a 30 by 30 space. So at this point, with Bavlorna sort of being in the middle of the pool, she's like 25 feet at most from any of you.
Okay. Well, 25
And it's
feet.
possible if anybody went around to the one side, you could get to her.
So Drown's probably about 25 feet away from her. Okay. Then in that case, the tentacle will sort of swell up at the edge of the pool near all of us. And are there any other Lornlings attacking people?
There's the one
other than the
attacking
two that-
Cantriel, and the one that
the
appeared to
tentacle
attack
will-
Fig.
Right. The tentacle will lash out at the one attacking Cantriel. And will hit for 10 cold damage.
Another Lornling bites the dust.
Bow, bow, bow.
And that's my turn.
So you took out 3 of them. As you finish your turn, Drown, and before you can go, Rolo, Bavlorna, as she sort of sits there crouching on this lily pad and sees you shattering Lornlings left and right, and you hit her with this cone of cold, and she just sort of grins and kind of like bracing into the wind as this coldness sweeps over, and the moisture on the surface of her skin turns into this like frost, almost like that hoarfrost, that sort of fuzzy like frost, and you just see it and hear it start to crack as her mouth turns into this impossibly wide grin. Oh, you want to play? And she opens her mouth, and you watch as from deep inside her mouth, 4 tentacles come out of her mouth and begin reaching out. And she's going to use a legendary action to make a tentacle attack. Let me just double check. Where'd that go? Yeah. She's going to make a tentacle attack at you, Drown.
Fair enough.
Son of a... that's going to be a 12.
No, that'll miss.
As this tentacle, one of the tentacles reaches out, and you just hear that whoosh, as it attempts to hit you, but misses. Rolo, you are up.
Watery tentacle sort of lashes up, and her tentacle strikes it and pops it, and then it reforms together.
Nice.
Rolo turns and looks at Cantriel.
Kaboom?
Make the boom, and I have a plan to go after.
Okay.
And she spins around and kind of flies up into the air and does her arms really big and brings them together in front of her and goes woof, and this fireball, it starts out as like this little spark, starts flitting through the air in the way a spark does, and it just seems to gain mass as it flits through the air until it's this massive ball of blue fire, and it just slams into where she is sitting. Anybody within the range of it is protected. And I'm casting this. Let's start out easy. We'll do it at 4th level first.
So she's
Is that
going...
me?
I don't know anymore.
All right, ahead of time.
She is going to use her legendary resistance because she rolled an 8.
Okay.
So what was your damage on that?
Oh no. Hang on 1 second. It was 39. So
Okay, so she'll
take 19.
She'll take 20. I roll up on round up on
Oh.
damage.
Okay.
Means I round up for you too, but yeah, she'll take 20 points of that as all of any frost that was remaining is suddenly just burned and melted away. And you see
Yes, Rolo would like what you took.
new
I want
cracks
it back.
start to form on her skin As she looks at you, Rolo, and reaches inside her dirty blouse and pulls out the jar that has your curiosity in it. Oh, you mean this? You'll have to come take it. And she sounds like she's got a mouthful of marbles because these 4 tentacles that are coming out of it. Do you have any other actions, Marble?
And, check. Nope, that will do it.
All right, she's going to make a tentacle attack at you.
I am 40 feet away.
It's not possible to be 40 feet away from her in this room.
Oh, well, I'm as far away as I can be.
She can reach 20 feet with this.
Oh, got
tentacle.
it. Okay.
That's an 18 to hit?
That will hit.
Yeah, these tentacles are like reaching for all of you. Because even if you're up against the wall, you're pretty much within range of that.
Okay.
As this tentacle lashes out at you, Rolo, after you launch this fireball, it just curls around your tiny form and begins to squeeze, and you take 14 points of bludgeoning damage, and you are grappled. Cantrielle, it is your turn.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So let me just quickly read something. Okay, so Cantriel is going to see the jar with Rolo's curiosity and see Bavlorna, all tentacle mouth, not to be confused with Smash Mouth, running around. And she is going to dip into her quiver, and as she does so, it's almost like the air starts to swirl around her, and you hear this crackling in the air as she pulls an arrow out, and you see the familiar electric sparks happening between her fingertips and the arrow. And she pulls out Sempre Cavatina, and she looks directly at Bavlorna, and she will say her favorite thing to say, because heck, it's time. Swift death to you who have wronged me. And so she's going to be doing lightning arrow and Sempre's fun little thing. So we're going to have some damage happening soon. So this is first one. That one is going to be a 23 to hit.
Yep.
23 to hit. Okay. So that takes, so then Sempre's damage alone before the lightning arrows is going to be 18 plus 7 is
25.
25, thank you, plus the 48 of lightning. So that is going to be 13 lightning in addition to that. And since I hit, I would like to super crit this.
Yes.
As a mod as well.
Okay. So
that was 25 plus
super
13.
Crit is 5 domain dice.
Yeah, so we're looking at 38 damage. Oh wait, don't I have to do this plus 7 again, or it's just the die?
So it's automatic max damage.
Oh, so that's a different story.
Doubled.
So automatic max damage doubled. Son of a bitch! I should have figured this out beforehand. My apologies.
You said
I
it was
forgot
4
that.
4d8 for the lightning.
Yeah,
So 30,
48. So that's 32.
which would be 64,
Mm-hmm.
plus the whatever
She's got
Sempre
3d6.
Cavatina does.
Yeah, she's got 3d6 for Sempre, and then a d8 straight up from the
18.
bow itself.
So that's 18, which is 36, is 70, 80, plus a d8, 88. Is that
Plus
math?
7.
Plus the 7, which is plus 14, which is 88, 98, 102.
Okay. So that's her first strike.
Okay.
So she let's see here. And then with the lightning arrow, anyone who is around her, so if there are any Lornlings around her within 10 feet.
The only ones that were within 10 feet already got fried by Talmud.
Okay, so then that's a moot
lightning.
point. So then she's gonna go in for her second strike which is just a straight up normal arrow this time around. And that will be a 22 to hit.
Yep.
Yes.
That's a hit.
And then that will be a total of 7 piercing, just with the bow itself. Wait, yes.
Yeah.
No, 10. Sorry. 10. 10.
Your bonus is 7, right?
I know. Yes, I know. That's just like I forgot to add the 3. Plus the 3.
You fire this first arrow, and the second arrow is almost like you're just shooting it just because you can.
Mm-hmm.
But you hit her at just the right spot that when this arrow strikes her, you just see her go. She starts to smile at it, and then you see this look of, oh no.
You'll pay for that.
She's used 2 legendary actions. Are you done? I should ask first.
Well, I have used my 2 actions and my bonus actions. So yeah, I'm
okay.
Or action. I am in fact done in this case.
Another tentacle is going to whip out and attempt to strike you. Oh, that was so close. That was almost a crit. But you see this tentacle writhing with electricity, and it's struggling to reach towards you as it's just going. And an 11's not going to hit you. As that one's dead, and that one's dead. 2 more quicklings are going to rush in, or sorry, Lornlings are going to rush into the fray. One of them is going for Thorgarn, and one of them is going to run up the tentacle and attack. Is going to attack Rolo.
Are they still up? Because that fireball would have hit all of them.
No, you're right. You are right. They would not be up because of the amount of damage you did.
Yeah.
Even halved, they would have been burnt to a crisp. Thank you.
Woohoo!
Whoosh.
I'm going to do a quick check. Okay. So they don't get to go, which means it's Thorgarn's turn.
I think it's Fig's turn.
Isn't Fig
Yeah.
go before?
What was
Fig
your?
goes
What
after
was your?
Cantriel, yeah.
An 8.
12.
Wait, hold on, because Fig, your roll showed up in the initiative tracker automatically as a 5. That's why I had you going later. You
That
rolled a
is so
12.
weird. If you look in the game log, it says initiative 12, which is very strange.
That's weird because it auto-populated you at a 12. What'd you have, Thorgarn? Yeah, yours populated at 8. Let me see if this will reorder you. Oh, good, it does. So actually, you would be in the same initiative with Cantriel.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, you go. Thank you for saying something.
Does that word Widdershins mean?
You
I think it
can.
mean something too.
So
I can tell you what it means. I know what it means.
I know what the word means, but I don't.
Before
know,
you say
I don't know
anything,
if Fig would even know.
I would say Fig. You can make
Yeah.
an intelligence history check.
Okay. 23.
And I'll let Katie tell you, since I can tell she wants to.
Widdershins means counterclockwise.
And with a 23, you know that you're able to sort of piece together in context that Widdershins, as it pertains to hags of the Feywild, some hags have been proven to be allergic to somebody running Widdershins, which is to run in place counterclockwise. If only you knew somebody that liked to run.
I was gonna say, Fig takes one look at Hermes and Hermes, could you do me a favor? Can you run? And he like makes the movement with his finger.
Hermes does something you've not seen before as he sort of cocks his head to look at you. He takes his left foot and he sort of raises it a little bit, and you see almost like cleats pop out of the bottom, and he slams it down on the wood, which locks his, like, sort of impales the foot onto the wood. And then you see as he sort of lifts his right leg, like he's like a runner stretching, and then just that left leg serving as a pivot, he just starts going. As soon as he starts running in this circle, Bavlorna goes, "Wait, what are you doing? What are you? Stop doing that!" And she just is caught in a sneezing fit.
Literally allergic. Got it.
She is literally allergic
fabulous.
to Widdershins. Fig, you catch out of the corner of your eye through the open door that's just a little bit further to your left that leads into the other room. The door frame of which is completely singed from Rolo's fireball. You see the door open a little bit, and you see that little Lornling peering out with its big eyes, looking at Hermes running and looking over at Bavlorna, and it just looks at you and it smiles and goes and ducks back into the room.
Yeah, I imagine Fig kind of makes a gesture to the Lornling to like stay back, or else, you know, his friends will nuke him. So it just kind of, and works to like maybe position himself even to like stand in front of this doorway that he's hiding in.
And telling Hermes, this only took, a couple seconds. This was a free action to tell Hermes to do that. So you still have your turn. I will say that anybody who's a spellcaster, yourself included, knows that you can't very well cast spells if you're sneezing. So mechanically, Bavlorna cannot cast spells until the end of her next turn.
Can she still hold a little Rolo?
The tentacles are not affected by the sneezing.
Okay.
If anything, the tentacles are they're sort of like, if when you move a chicken around and its head sort of stays put while she's sneezing, the tentacles are out there, but at the very end, Rolo's still sort of in one position. So what are you gonna do, Fig?
So Fig reaches out his hand, which immediately detaches from his wrist as he's going to cast Figby's hand on Bavlorna, and he's going to try and hold on to her. He's going to do grasping hand as it encircles her.
So is that a strength athletics check?
Is Bavlorna classified as medium still? You said that she was getting bigger.
Bavlorna
so
is large.
bigger? Okay, that's fine. It just means I don't have advantage.
So do you make an attack roll on that, or how does that work? I don't remember.
I use the hand strength sword to resolve a grapple.
Okay, so strength versus strength.
Yep. Okay.
What are you doing? Get it away from me!
I'm gonna use the domain dice. I rolled a 6.
Okay. One domain die.
That was worse.
Use another one.
I'm going to use another one.
I mean, we've got them. Might as well use them.
And then it's this one. Oh yeah, nat 20.
Yes!
There it is.
There we go.
That is
that's
definitely
28.
going to beat her 10.
Oh,
Nice.
As she's in a sneezing fit too.
So it's going to grapple the target, and then I'm going to use my bonus action for her to take bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Is going to be 9 points.
Okay.
Of
bludgeoning damage. Okay.
Yes. And then my simulacrum is going to or Fig Simulacrum is going to cast Magic Missile on the tentacles, specifically the one wrapping Rollo, to try and get him to release.
Okay, I've got to find theirs.
It's going to be at
Where'd they go? Come on.
4th level.
So that's going to be... Okay. Well, those are obviously going to hit. So what's the damage?
1 moment.
As magic missiles begin flying through the air.
That is going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 23 points. I think. Math.
As all of these magic missiles suddenly slam into the tentacle, these missiles, there's a lot going on in this room, and these tentacles flying around, and the missiles are sort of swarming around. And so they don't all hit simultaneously. They sort of shoom, 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 shoom. And as the last one zips in and slams into it, you see multiple pieces of tentacle just fall away. And Rollo, you are released as Bavlorna's down 1 tentacle now and only has 3 left.
Give me myself back!
Is that it for Fig and Co? All right.
Yes.
Thorgarn, now you're up.
Number 1, are the tentacles separate creatures from her?
No, they are coming out of her mouth.
Okay. So far we've seen lightning, we've seen cold, we've seen fire. Has she reacted differently to any of the damage?
You can make an insight check.
Do so. Natural 20 for a 26.
She's taken every one of these damages at full force.
All right. Thorgarn's going to position himself so he doesn't hurt his allies with this. He's going to give Drown a look. And he's going to do something that this party has never seen him do before. The icy blue eyes are going to get wider. And you're going to just see like his head and shoulders get frosted over in ice. And he will breathe out his own cone of cold.
Oh,
Right.
check that action out.
Is this you using your Auriel's blessing?
This is indeed.
All right. So
So I rolled it up. It is 38 cold damage.
was that a Dex or a Con save? I don't remember.
Con save. And if it's going off of just my basic spell DC, it's drastically lower than Drown's.
Are you flipping kidding me? Okay. Well, what's your DC?
14.
That's exactly what she got. One of them was a really
Reroll
high
that.
number, spun
Reroll
around
that.
and landed on a 2. I forget.
Oh wait, landed on a 2, and she
Yeah.
got, oh,
No,
wow.
because she gets advantage.
Oh,
The other one was higher. So I'm re-rolling. The new roll is 23.
All right, so she takes 19 cold. I've been sitting on that for a long time.
And
That was cool.
You see, as you do that, between yours and Drown's, which just happened seconds ago, it's not like fully freezing the water of the pool, but there's that like real thin surface ice. Some of the waves have sort of, as the force of this cone of cold has pushed towards her, some of the little ripples and waves have frozen up, and are very quickly sort of crackling back in. And she's sneezing and shivering now. Is that your turn?
Other than pulling Forge Fane out and just staring murder at her. Ready to go.
Sorry, I just realized I was pushing my glasses up and I looked up at the stream and I realized I'm flipping you all off, so I apologize.
Oh yeah, thanks.
That was not intentional. That wasn't a way to go, Ted. Nice move.
Likely story.
As Bavlorna looks around at all of you, she's just you're gonna pay for this. And you see the 3 remaining tentacles begin to writhe around. 2. She can't cast spells. So 2 of her tentacles are going to attack at one at Fig. Both of them are coming for Fig, unless the first one hits. So Fig, a tentacle comes lashing out at you. That is a 12 to hit. I don't believe that hits you.
Nope.
The second one is going to be a dirty 20 to hit.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to make any assumptions because y'all are level 4 or 20 or 14, not 20.
Yes.
Level 14. I almost said 24. You're level 14. You're going to take from that second tentacle 26 points of bludgeoning damage. It wraps around you, and as she's still sneezing, Drown, you see that the sneezing is becoming less and less. And all of a sudden, her mouth seems to sort of stretch out a little wider. It's kind of pulled up at the sides from these tentacles. And you watch as her tongue flicks out at you.
Told you.
And she is going to... Where's the... Oh, I don't have the tongue attack in here. Alright, so that's going to be... Okay. That is going to be these dice. Okay, that's better than I thought it was. 22.
Yes.
So the tongue lashes out at you, and you feel it just suddenly sticks right to your chest and starts to pull. I need you to make a strength saving throw.
Strength save.
You can do it!
Natural 20 for a 25.
Yay!
You hold your ground, and the tongue just pulls tighter and tighter, and then back into her mouth as she goes. And it is back to Talmud.
He is grappled. I don't know if she wants to try and get out of that grapple.
That would take
I
an
don't
action
know.
to do so.
Oh, just kidding.
So
Is she still out on that lily pad in the middle of this pool?
yeah. But if you'll remember, I said that it's closest to the left edge, so somebody could run around to get to her, to get within melee of her on
Within
that
melee?
side.
Okay, perfect. And
Yeah, these
that's
are like
exactly
10 feet wide border all the way around this pool, and you could absolutely get to her.
okay. Then that is exactly what Talmud is doing. He is racing around the outside of this pool. Wait, I guess that's dangerous. Technically, you don't run around.
Yeah, no running around the pool.
And
You can walk very fast.
starts to run and then very quickly like stops and does that little like not running run.
I just imagine Cantriel giving you a mom look.
Yeah.
That tracks.
If anything, Bavlorna would be the one to yell at you. No running in my pool!
Yes.
Don't speak with your mouth full.
And no peeing in it either!
Too late.
Well, there goes my first turn. Yeah, Talmud's definitely going to run around the edge with Gerto Braune drawn, and is going to raise her up above his head and bring it down on this frog.
Do it, dwarf. Strike me down, and I will become more powerful than you can imagine.
I silence her. No, I'm kidding.
I said I was running around the pool, so we already know that I'm being reckless with my attack. So that's a 21 to hit.
That is a hit.
All right, and then I'll roll the second one just in case. It's beautiful 29.
Yep.
Okay, first one. First one's going to be 18 points of damage. I'm assuming she's not a dragon.
Bold of you to assume that, but she is not.
Well, if she is, let me know. I'll roll some more dice for you. The second is going to be 20 points of damage.
All right. I believe you. And actually, I want to check something real quick. Okay, no, you're good. You're good. I was just checking to see if there was any advantage from her being grappled, but there is not.
And I think that's it. That's all I've got.
All right. So
she has like dwarven spirits like crawling all over her, trying to attack her with their ghostly weapons.
So that's going to give her attacks disadvantage. She's going to use a legendary action to try to bite you.
Good, because that's exactly what I said. Bite me.
So at disadvantage.
No, she has. She's not at disadvantage against me.
Oh, not against you.
Everyone but me. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 23 to hit you.
That will hit.
She suddenly kind of reaches down her head towards you where you just struck at her, and you see her straining because she's grappled by this Figby's hand. You are going to take 15 points of bludgeoning damage, reduced to 8 for raging. Are you raging?
No,
so
I'm
you're going to take 15 points of bludgeoning. And as she bites down onto your arm and shoulder, she does not let go. You are grappled by her.
Okay.
As she bites in, and you can feel these tentacles that are coming out of her mouth sort of around you. And as she bites on you, you feel that tongue trying to lick at you and pull you in. They're dead. Drown, it's your turn again.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think Drown's just going into the pool. Yep, he's gonna just sort of leap from the edge, clear, I don't know, a good half of the distance to her, and then just sort of, press through the water at her as the sword of sharpness appears in his hand, and strike at her.
Alrighty.
2 strikes. Let's see. 24.
Hit.
And what is that? You're difficult to read die. Dirty 20.
Both hits.
Ah. Lovely. All right. 6, 2. So that's 31 points of slashing damage total.
And did you leap out of the water, attack her from below? What was your...
I mean, how deep is the pool? As I remember, Drown can just kind of walk through it.
Once it had filled up, it was like 3 or 4 feet deep.
Oh yeah, he could just walk through that, no problem.
Okay. I don't know, for some reason I pictured you diving in, which is totally unsafe.
It is not that deep, no.
So
No running, no diving.
Drown and Talmud.
Birds.
Close. It was close.
I almost called you Thalbud in an attempt to correct it.
Albert.
So Drown and Thyroid, you both are close enough to Bavlorna that you can see underneath where Figby's hand is grasping Bavlorna, and all kind of at the back of her head and where her legs are kind of underneath, all over her, you see what looks almost like boils forming. But they are translucent, and inside you can see little faces with eyes.
Hornlings? Oh, no.
That's gross.
Well, as a bonus action, I'm going to draw that water tentacle closer, and it's going to lash out and hit her for 8 cold damage.
All right.
And that's my turn.
Also, as a side note, Ted pointed out to me, because I'm not raging, the dwarven spirits don't manifest.
Oh,
Yep.
perfect.
I forgot about that. So thank you, Ted.
She's going to use another legendary action to make a tentacle attack as a tentacle goes flying across the room and slams into Hermes
Ooh.
for 24 points of bludgeoning damage.
Shit.
And lifting Hermes up off the ground so he can, or at the very least holding him steady so he can't run Widdershins anymore. And
24, you said?
yes. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Fig, you are caught up in a tentacle as well.
Yes.
Okay. Rolo.
Okay. How beat up is she looking?
She is showing signs of wear, which is manifesting primarily as frostbite mixed with burns, mixed with big bruises,
Okay.
blisters. Only a couple of you have landed.
She's got a big arrow
melee
sticking
attack.
out of
Yeah,
her neck.
massive arrow sticking in her that's still lightly going.
Okay. I am going to, first thing I'm going to do is start flying counterclockwise around her. Because I noticed she stopped sneezing when she grabbed Hermes. Is that fair?
As you start flying around her, nothing happens.
All right. I'll hit the ground and start running.
All right, so you hit the ground, you start running in place, counterclockwise.
Running Widdershins.
She, as you were flying around her, she just kind of. As soon as you hit the ground and start running.
All right, so that's the first thing. Second thing is, that's my movement. I'm going to cast Fireball again. This time at 6th level.
Oh boy.
Boom.
That's going to be 33 damage, fire.
She rolled a 5, so she's going to use legendary resistance, her last legendary resistance,
I'll take it.
to pass that. So she's going to take. You said it was 28
No, 35.
or 35.
Yeah.
So she'll take 18 fire damage as fire explodes, but does not harm Talmud or Drown. But you can see more blisters, and even some of these boils that look like they had lornlings in them sort of popping and burning before they can even form. Is that your turn?
And she's like running across the floor and turns to the center again and says,
Rolo would very much appreciate it if you give me myself back.
She tries to say something, but all you hear is, "I was you're gonna." She just is sneezing like crazy as you're talking to her.
Less talking, more giving.
Fig and Cantrielle, it is your turn.
Okay, so Cantrielle is seeing that her companions are now very much up front and very close. She'll just pull out a normal arrow for her first strike, but she still has the Sempre Cavatina factor going in, so we do have the extra damage coming through. That will be a 20. Mathing. It'll hit. It's gonna be a 20 over 25 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So then, do we want to just super crit this again for the shits and giggles of it?
Do it.
Yeah, let's
We've
just
got
do
the
that. We know
dice.
that's a 64.
Yeah, we've got the dice for it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember. Wait, you said okay.
That was the lightning arrow.
The lightning arrow was
It
the
was
64.
without it. Was the lightning with 64?
The lightning was the 4d8, was 32 doubled to 64.
So it's double.
It's,
so
it's double
3D
max damage of whatever dice and bonuses you have.
66 plus 14.
Hold on. God damn it. I need my calculator out. I thought I wrote it down.
66.
50 plus. Yeah, 66 then. If it's double max damage.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, so another arrow buries itself into her, sinking way deeper than any arrows of normally do, and she is very wounded.
Very wounded. Okay. Then I will go in for the second shot, and I didn't use my bonus action. So actually what I could do is tap into some rangeriness. And what is that called again? Slayer's Prey. So we're going to throw in an extra d6 to this damage for Slayer's Prey on the second shot. Bonus action used.
Take away your tomes for super critting.
That is going to be... that'll definitely hit again with what I got on my roll. It's well over 25, so that is... 27.
27.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Another arrow sinking into her, and at this point she's got like 3 or 4 arrows sticking out of her. She's grabbed by a giant spectral hand.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, 17. Sorry, 17. I mismathed that.
All right, Fig, did you make a concentration save when you got hit by the tentacle?
That's just Constitution.
It's your Constitution modifier, and it's half of the damage you took. Is the DC. So yeah, I think you're fine. You're still concentrating on Figby's hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's your turn, Fig. You are grappled by a tentacle.
Okay. Well, Fig is first going to use his action to try and break free from that.
All right, that'll be strength athletics or acrobatics, I believe.
25 for athletics.
Good lord. Yeah, you just slither right out of this tentacle.
And then that's going to be, he's going to use his bonus action with Figby's hand to clench down on Lorna, which is going to be 13 points of bludgeoning damage. And then the simulacrum is going to cast a firebolt.
At this point, her eyes are bulging bigger and bigger as Figby's hand is squeezing her, and she's sneezing, and these tentacles are still writhing around.
So that's a 22 to hit with the
Yep.
firebolt.
Wait. Yeah, sorry, yes, that's a hit.
For 24 points of fire damage.
All right.
That's my turn.
Thorgarn, you are up. As
Standing
she's
at
just...
You're gonna pee, all of you!
Standing at the edge of the pool, I want to just heft Forge Feign and give it a couple of tosses. I rolled my first 2 dice, got a natural 20 and a 2. So I want to use a domain die and re-roll. And that ironically resulted in another natural 20. That is a total of 27 and 29 bludgeoning damage.
So you doubled your maxed your damage, not doubled. You maxed your damage.
Max the damage on the thrown hammer, and then re-rolled the dice, and then added strength.
All right. So that. Sorry, what was the numbers on that?
27 and 29.
27 and 29.
It's a dwarven thrower. What do you want?
Oops, I hit the wrong button.
Yeehaw.
Indeed.
27 and 29 damage. Undo. There we go. 29 damage. She is not looking great. One target. She is going to use her. Actually, okay. She's going to attack with 2 tentacles, so that's going to be a drown and a Rolo. That she's going to attempt to hit with tentacles. That's going to be drown. 15 to hit.
That hits.
So drown, you're going to take 21 points of bludgeoning and be grappled.
Oof. I will Stone's Endurance that and cut 8 off of it. So
Rolo, that is 28 to hit you.
Reroll that.
I will re-roll that for a new total of 24.
Shield. Or no, that won't work still. Never mind. I'll take it. Yep.
All right, so you're going to take 22 points of bludgeoning damage and be grappled again. And the sneezing was still in effect, so she cannot cast a spell, but she already has Talmud bitten and grappled. Talmud. She is going to swallow you. As you all see, as Talmud just suddenly, she goes, and Talmud disappears inside her. That was a bonus action to do that. Because, okay, that's all she can do. She can't cast spells. All right, that is her turn. Taking us back to the top of the order. Talmud, it's your turn. You are restrained. So obviously you have no speed, it's 0. You have disadvantage on your attacks and disadvantage on dex saves. But you can certainly try to fight your way out of this.
Yeah, so the first thing that we see as like she bottoms up with Talmud is we kind of see from the inside of her kind of thin skin of her mouth kind of start to glow blue as Talmud activates his tattoos and enters rage. And as he's kind of sliding down the gullet, he is going to basically just grab a hold of anything that he can find here, you know, the base of one of these tongue tendrils or something like that. And he's going to start pulling on things as hard as he can.
Okay. I'll have you do that as an unarmed strike.
Okay. So I don't imagine I can use my weapon in here.
I mean, mechanically you can. It's at disadvantage.
You're restrained, so with disadvantage.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean,
Okay.
her stomach's big enough to hold you. You've got room to maneuver a bit. So you can certainly try.
Okay. So I will do so. And again, as he's kind of entered rage, he's going to do so recklessly. So that should wash things out. We'll see, I guess. All right. So.
Well, no, that
That
wouldn't wash
is-
it out. That would just be, it's still a disadvantage because reckless. Or no, sorry. I'm dyslexic. Yes, you're right. Ignore me. Well, don't ignore me completely.
Okay.
Just carry on.
No, it would make the game very boring. That's a dirty 20.
Okay, that's a hit.
All right. So I'm going to roll the second one as well. If I can hold on to my damn dice.
They're squidgy.
Exactly.
Little bastards.
We're all covered in mucus and slime now. That's
Frog
a
guts.
16.
That's a hit.
All right, good deal. Okay, so the first one. You know what? No, we're gonna super crit both of these.
Before.
Here we go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
Okay,
double
so
max
that's-
damage.
Right. It's 12 and 11 is 23, so 46 from each. So that is 92 points.
1, 3, 2. Sorry. I'm sorry. What was that number?
92.
So, okay. So as you figure out from within here the best way to maneuver this hammer to do the most amount of damage inside. I need to make a con
Right on the uvula.
save for
Over and over
her.
Right on the go button.
That's just a flat roll.
Oh, it's a girl house. love that
So she also fails her con save. So as you do this, you just hit exactly in the right spots, and you just from inside you hear this sort of. I'm not going to make the sound because I definitely don't want to squig people out, but you hear the sound that you know is there. But also, Talmud, as her mouth opens up to expel you, and the light starts to come in, you see more of these boils inside with these little faces. And you see little Lornling faces pressing close against you. And in unison, they're saying, Valagarthrax is coming. And all of a sudden, you're just... You're expelled upward and outward. And all of you see moments after Talmud was swallowed, that suddenly he is regurgitated, and you watch as within Figby's hand, Bavlorna turns inside out and begins to rapidly decompose. And as she does so, you see dozens and dozens of these miniature Lornlings, like barely bigger than frogs, floop, 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 start leaping out. Several of them diving down into the pool. And many of them start swimming towards the drain and down into that drain that you opened up. As Figby's hand collapses and the tentacles just, for a moment, they're holding on to those of you that they have grappled, and then they just go and they turn into like gelatin and just collapse into the pool around you.
Do I see the jar?
The jar falls down onto the lily pad.
Rolo is racing to the jar.
Before you do that,
Okay.
you are still in initiative order.
Okay.
Because the door opens up in the room next door where Fig was sort of protecting, and the one Lornling sticks its head out and it goes, "That was just the beginning. Valagarthrax comes." And that's where we're going to take our break.
All right.
Abandoned hag. Abandoned hag.
Abandoned hag. Yep, pretty much. So, yeah, that's a little bit later than we usually take a break, but only by 15 minutes. We're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we'll be coming back to see what the heck Valagarthrax is, and deal with that. So stick around. We will be back in 10 minutes. And we're back.
Booties.
Sure.
But we forgot to say something, so I was just taking care of that.
So I believe Talmud had the last action as all of these internal forming Lornlings were saying to you, Valagarthrax is coming. And then the other Lornling popped its head out and said this warning as this jar that contains Rolo's curiosity has landed on the floating lily pad. It is your turn, Drown. The person you were engaged with is no longer there. There's just a pile of goo and dozens of these frog-sized Lornlings escaping in the water.
As soon as Bavlorna, melts, discorporates, whatever, Drown's interest in all of the scuttling critters evaporates right along with her. And he sort of turns around to look at everyone. Is everyone all right?
Willow wants her curiosity. Willow wants herself.
She doesn't exactly know it's her curiosity. She just knows something's missing.
Drown then will just sort of reach out, pluck the jar, and hold it out to Rolo. All yours.
Drown, do you have any special senses or anything when you're in the water? Any like Aquaman abilities or whatever?
I can communicate with other immersed things.
Okay, just curious.
Yeah, I don't have any special senses. No.
So for the moment, you're using your turn to pick up the jar and hand it to Rolo.
Yep.
Rolo, you now have a jar that contains yourself.
Can I make an Arcana roll to know how to re-imbibe this portion of myself?
I'm not even going to make you make a roll. You just know that this is basically a mason jar. You just know you need to take the lid off.
Okay. I'm gonna take the lid off.
As you take the lid off, you see this sort of amorphous, almost looks like a swarm of fireflies, but almost in like a little misty cloud of blue. And you see it sort of almost like reaching up out of the jar and moving around, and then seeing you for a moment from your perspective, or from its perspective, is just what looks like this giant draconic figure looking into the jar. The figure, the thing, this amorphous cloud just goes, and like a mist just shoots into your nostrils.
And Rolla kind of jerks back, and her eyes cross, and she shakes her head.
Instantly, all of that curiosity that's been missing since the fair has returned.
Oh my gosh, this place is so cool! Rolo is entranced! Why did I not see this before? Wait, who is Valitrex? Why are they coming here? What are they doing? Are we okay? Is this safe? Are we in danger?
He's back.
Making up for lost time.
Rolo, hold action to fireball!
Big.
Fig wants to first. He wants to kind of listen after this. Lornling had said this. His little friend had said this. He's kind of listening. He's trying to hear anything, see anything that might suggest something is coming.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
It's a 10.
You listen, and all you can hear is all these little splashes of these little lornling frog-like creatures going into the water, and many of them, that starting to dissipate, as many of them have swum down inside this big drain that filled the pool. And you hear the sound, the sort of thick dripping sound of this gelatinous remains of the tentacles and Bavlorna. That's all you can hear.
Can you walk over to the door and kind of crouch beside it?
You see the door crack open just enough to see these little eyes staring at you, and you just hear, "She is gone, but Father Grathax is coming." And as this Lornling is speaking, you see the eyes go from low down to the ground, start rising upward and changing shape and getting smaller, and the voice goes from this little tiny voice to this deeper but feminine voice that says, "You must brace yourselves. It's not over yet." And you recognize Giselle, one of the crew. And as she says that, I need Drown and Talmud in particular to make dexterity saving throws, because you two are in or at the water, as the bottom of the pool and Bavlorna's cottage explodes upward as water just spews everywhere. as there's just this tremendous, and I need your deck saves.
Is this something that counts as having seen it or no?
No.
Okay.
Well, you definitely couldn't see it coming, so I would say no.
I'll do that.
10. 10.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you
mine's a 9.
Okay, so
Sure, I'll domain diet, see if I can do better.
okay.
All right, fair enough. It's 10.
Okay. The two of you are hurled out of the pool. You got lucky there. You each are only going to take 2 bludgeoning damage. And if you're raging, did you ever rage, Talmud?
Mm-mm.
Yes, I did when I got swallowed.
Okay, so you'll take 1 from that. As you are...
You said I took 2?
Yes, you're both thrown out of the pool and slammed against the walls as this pool explodes upward, and the ceiling explodes, and there's bits of furniture and wood raining down everywhere as you see this shimmering black and yellow form unfurl itself, massive claws and wings and tail landing partially in this area, and you see this draconic head turn with big curled horns as a black dragon has just burst onto the scene.
Okay.
Rolo's held action goes off.
Okay,
Oh, that's right.
so
I'm
that's
gonna fireball
Okay.
it.
Sure.
I imagine it's just like a panic response. Ah!
Oh yeah, it's a big black dragon. Rolo's in
That
full
is-
panic mode.
A natural 20 for 29.
Oh, well.
Reroll that, please.
So it'd be 46 becomes 144.
There's no way unless you roll a 1,
144.
because it's a 18 to save.
So that would be... Okay, so... believe it or not, that is another natural 20
Oh my god.
for 29.
All right, I'll take it.
Okay.
Just throwing this out there. That was 2 rolls in a row that were both 1 in 400.
Damn.
I've witnessed 3 natural 20s in a row.
Yeah.
In
So-
person.
What's your fireball damage?
46. 4-6.
4-6, so 20... Whoops, that's a 4.
23.
23 points of fire damage explodes onto the dragon that suddenly bursts up. And the dragon doesn't waste time saying anything to any of you. It is going to...
When she does the fireball and she sees what she hit, she just gets like crouched down, huge eyes, starts trembling head to toe.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
As,
Oh, dear.
as this dragon rises up, I, the DM, am suddenly remembering when I built this encounter, I totally forgot that at least 2 of you have specifically dragon targeting attacks. But I need everybody to make a wisdom saving throw. And take into account if you are immune or have advantage against being frightened.
You don't have Aura of Courage, do you, Ted?
No. I have aura.
Yeah.
Because the first thing
Not
that
enough paladin.
Velagrathax is doing is using its frightful presence on all of you.
Use a
So
domain
that's a
die.
16, potentially plus the Aura bonus from Thorgarn.
If you're within 10 feet of me, you got a +1 to your save.
Could I counter charm that out of curiosity?
It's not a spell.
Okay.
No, not counter.
Oh, not counter spell.
Counter spell.
I don't think charm
Charm.
works on frightened, does it? Counter charm? Does it work on frightened?
Yeah, frightened or charmed.
Oh, okay. So that's a 17 that I've got.
Hold on.
I want to use a domain die, and then I got a 21 thereafter.
Does counter charm just work for yourself, or
It says during that time, you and any friendly creatures within 30 feet that can hear you gain advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed.
okay?
Then I wouldn't.
So I would say before you and Fig use Thorgarn, before you and Fig use your domain dies, you get advantage on that roll from the bardic counter charm.
Thank you, Cantrielle.
Yes, of course. She hates dragons.
Did 17 get the job done, Jake?
It did not.
All right.
How about an 18?
An 18 did not.
Damn.
Oh, this is one scary mofo.
So,
This is a big
so
dragon.
Fig, is that 21 your new?
That was with the advantage. Like, yes.
Yes, that's your new. That's your new number. You saved. You're not
Yes.
afraid.
Okay.
So
What did
Jake,
everybody
I burnt a
get?
I burnt a domain die and got a 25.
Okay, so you're good.
21 for me.
You're good.
20.
You're good.
Burned
had
a domain
initially-
die for a 28 natural 20.
Okay, you're good. Talmud.
I had burned a domain die, but that was before Cantriel gave advantage. So
Okay.
my total without a domain die is an 11. It's
Talmud.
better than the 1.
You, for a moment, you remember back months and months, or maybe years. You don't know what the Feywild's doing to you, but you remember when you were at Kundrakar, down in the depths, and you fought against a young black dragon. In fact, the dragon that had Sempre Cavatina in its hoard, the one that Cantriel's mother had called you to. You remember that dragon and its size, but you took it on. This dragon makes that dragon look like a puppy in comparison, and it terrifies you. So that's its first part of its action, as it is going to start lashing out with reckless abandon. Its first attack is going to be at Drown, its second attack is going to be at Rolo, and its third attack is going to be at Rolo. So it is going to attempt to bite Drown. That is going to be a 33 to hit.
Barely.
Drown, you are going to take
Can I have my spirits intercept that even when I'm feared?
I think we need to intercept on Rolo. She's pretty hurt.
Yeah, I'm bloodied.
She didn't get healed. That's right. Okay.
No.
I didn't
Then,
get a turn
I'm gonna
yet.
save it.
He hasn't had a
Yep.
chance to do it yet.
Save it.
So
Yep.
you're gonna take. I just lost that number. You're gonna take this one smaller. 14 points of piercing, and as it bites down on you, Drown, you feel the burning of the acid as well for 11 points of damage.
Oof.
It then begins to rake out. It's actually going to use both of its claw attacks at the little dragon being.
Wait, all right, hold on. How much was the total damage of the bite? Sorry.
14 piercing and 11 acid.
25.
Ugh. All right, so I'll use my reaction to Stone's Endurance, and it'll cut 15 off of that, but I still
Ooh.
take 10.
Okay.
Nice.
The first claw attack, Rolo. 33 to hit.
That'll hit.
The second claw
Intercept.
attack.
33 to hit.
Okay.
My
so,
AC's 15.
So, the first attack I want to resolve before we get to the second one. The first attack is 18 points of slashing damage.
Got it.
I'm going to intercept that with my spirits if I
Oh,
can.
So
If
that
it's
turns
within
that
30
into
feet of me.
disadvantage? Is that how
No,
that
I
works?
absorbed
No.
46 points of damage.
Oh. Okay.
It's,
As- You absorb, how many did you say? 4d6?
if it's more than 18, then I'm full. Then I don't take anything.
So I rolled 15.
Okay, so I take 3.
I'm also at the level where my spirits return that as force damage back to the target.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
So the dragon takes 15
force.
points of force damage.
15.
Okay.
Yep.
On its second claw attack, Rolo, it goes to strike at you after this first one gets intercepted and these spirits intercede on your behalf. The second one comes at you and it sort of slams into the ground and the nails catch in the wood and you're like between its fingers. That is a crit fail, which means you get an opportunity attack, a free opportunity attack on it.
Okay.
Let's see. So I can only do, if I remember correctly, attacks of opportunity. You can only do like
Melee.
actual hit. You can't
melee
trip or
attacks.
anything. Can I use a wand?
I mean, if you're gonna hit it like it's a wooden sword.
Okay, now.
Or a club, yeah. Maybe.
I will beat it with my quarterstaff.
Aha. Clunk.
That's a 12 to hit.
It's about what you would
Actually,
expect.
if I'm caught by it.
You're in between. You're not actually caught by it. It's like
okay.
I mean, that's just how I flavored the crit
I'm like
miss.
standing between.
Yeah,
its
basically, it tried. You're small enough that it just didn't get you, and you just go whack, 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 and it just has no reaction at all to you hitting it. So that's its turn. Cantrielle, you follow the dragon.
Oh, well now. This will be fun. So Cantrielle will just... I'm trying to think. I still have lightning arrow going too, I think. I do. It hasn't been over a minute, has it? Or since this all happened? Or
we
have
stayed
got it?
in-
It's discharged when you hit.
No, it goes for a minute. As long as you maintain
Until you
concentration.
hit.
Right. But it,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
So I
it lasts
misread that
for a
one.
minute.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd have
But-
to recast it.
Gotcha. Never mind. All right, never
It
mind.
was
Not
off
going to
a minute.
recast one. So we're just going to go straight up with the extra damage because, the bow
Yep.
likes its Dargans. So that is going to be a 27 to hit.
That is going to hit.
Okay, so then that's 22 damage for the first hit.
That extra dragon damage paying off now.
Mm-hmm. And then the second one will be a 19 to hit.
That is going to deflect off of its scales.
Dang it. Oh, but wait, I have advantage because I forgot it's a Dargan.
Yep.
It's a Dargan.
It's a Dargan. So then that becomes a 23 to hit.
That does hit.
Okay, cool. So then now we're looking at 16 on the second.
Okay.
And then Cantrielle will shout out to Fig. I'm sure you and your crew absolutely have this one, and gives bardic inspiration to Fig.
All right. Big, you go after Cantrielle, right? I can't remember how we were doing that. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Because the way it ordered these when I reset yours was different. Yeah. So it is your turn, Fig. Actually, before you go, it's going to use a legendary action. As its tail comes whipping around in this space, rising up out of the water. That's going to be Fig that gets targeted. The tail attack.
Mammy.
Oh, it's a 17 to hit.
Fig's gonna use his reaction to cast Shield, which will put his AC up to a 20.
Okay, so yeah, you just suddenly throw up this shield as this tail seems to explode up out of the broken floor and water and just slams against your arcane shield. And now it is your turn.
All right. From this water, Fig he takes out this vial immediately appears from his hand and up into his palm as Figby's hand is going to disappear as he pours drop, drop, drop into this water as it begins to rise up and a form appears as he casts Summon Elemental. So he's going to cast this huge water elemental comes bursting forth from this water. That is his turn. The simulacrum, I think, is going to just magic missile the crap out of him because that's the only thing that he can do right now, but cast it at 5th level.
Yeah.
So that's going to be... Sorry, I should have counted this out. 4, 5, 6, 7 missiles. Which is going to be 20 points of...
Yeah, these missiles just go flying around and start slamming into this dragon. Cantriel. As this is happening, you notice, because this dragon kind of blew out the ceiling above it, which means part of the floor above where you had been previously, you can see some of the furniture that was in the room that you had met with Bavlorna before. But also this one room that you hadn't gone into, behind the dragon's head, you see what looks like some sort of makeshift like walk-in freezer. There's like chunks of meat hanging on meat hooks. It would be next to where the kitchen was. But there's this sort of wooden cabinet, like really old-fashioned refrigerators, ice boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, kind of tilted at an angle, leaning up against the side of one of these walls, and the door has swung open, and suspended in there from little chains, you see a heart. And it's covered in frost. This heart is being used to power this icebox in this room. But it is definitely a heart that looks like it was pulled from a living humanoid and is still beating.
Okay.
Fig, is that you and your company's
No.
turn?
My elemental gets to go.
Oh, that's right. And you
right
have...
after my turn.
That's right. You have a elemental.
Yeah. So he makes 3 attacks. Which is going... I think 2 of those don't hit, but 18, 19, 20, 23 to hit. I think that one does hit. The other ones will not. Which is going to be 13 points of damage.
Is it bludgeoning?
Yes, I believe so.
That it's slam attack?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
13 bludgeoning. And at this point, this room, mechanically, there's nothing as far as like that reduced visibility or anything, but there's like pieces of wood from the broken cottage are hanging all different directions. The water is sort of being churned up all around as this dragon's claws and tail and head are swinging around. Now you're done? Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So you've got 3 additional figures on the battlefield besides the 6 of you. So I'm going to roll a d10 instead of a d6. The dragon's going to take another tail attack legendary action. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to target Hermes. Hermes gets hit by the tail at 22 for 18 points of bludgeoning damage. You okay there? You okay there, V?
I want to snuggle him so bad.
That downs Hermes.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Hermes gets hit by this tail and I think as Hermes gets hit by it, you hear this sort of snapping sound. Hermes collapses in a heap next to the wall, but his left leg is just sticking upright where it had sort of pinned itself down on the floor previously. Thorgarn.
All right. Well, I guess I'll. It's not going to be much for Hermes, but I'll help out both the injured people. I already was moving towards Rollo, and I will do lay on hands for 40 points of healing.
Oh, thank you.
And then I will
was down to 27.
I will pop a healing word to stabilize and heal Hermes for 4 points of healing.
Gets him out of death saves.
It does not work on Hermes.
Oh no.
Hermes is a
Just
construct.
Tentacle.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, he's a straight up construct, huh? Not
Yep.
okay. I don't know what to do there then.
All right.
Healing potion.
Doesn't healing potion work the same way a spell does?
Nope.
Nope.
No creature type restriction.
No. The potions work
Also-
on constructs, but a
No,
lot
I'm
of
thinking
the
mending, but I don't have
Mending works, yeah.
Ending
Yeah,
takes
I
a
don't
minute
have
to
it.
cast.
I think
Yeah, I
M-
have mending.
M
but
does
that-
Hermes has very specific guidelines on how to be repaired, doesn't he?
Yes. Yep.
That takes us back to the top of the order, Talmud. You are prone because you got slammed against the wall and knocked prone from the dragon bursting up.
Right. And is there still water in the pool? Or is it drained out?
The water is not so much in the pool as it's just there is no pool anymore. It's the whole bottom of
Right.
this cottage, the pool, it's all gone. There's just a big gaping hole that's full of dragon and churning water from the swamp.
So what I hear is the floor is dragon. So that's
Yes,
perfect for
the
Talmud.
floor is dragon.
The floor
Perfect.
is dragging.
The dragon is
and then-
everywhere, so you can hit it from anywhere, pretty much.
So that means that Talmud is going to step onto the dragon. Well, I mean, really, he's going to jump on it with Gertel Braune drawn, and is going to attempt to attack recklessly. That's a 20.
Oh yeah, that is. You slam Gerta Braune into the dragon's head as it kind of rears around, and the dragon doesn't even seem to notice that you hit it. A 20 does not hit.
No, I'm sorry. It was a nat 20.
Oh, you didn't
Oh.
you didn't specify that, or I
Sorry,
didn't hear
that's-
that.
Thus my excitement.
It seems to
Sorry.
have a delayed reaction as it doesn't react to you hitting it, and then you see the scales on the side of its face start to go
Crack.
So max damage, then roll your dice.
My
For
bad.
the crit.
All right. Let's see. So that's is a dragon. 18. Oh, you know what I haven't done? Okay, so clarify for me here. I'm at the level of barbarian where I get extra weapon dice for crit, but my weapon does 2d6. So is that an extra 2d6 or an extra 1d6?
For the crit,
Yeah, I have a thing as a
any
barbarian.
dice that are involved in your calculation of
damage?
your damage, plus your bonuses, are all maxed.
So anything you roll,
Then you
it's
roll
maxed.
those dice again.
Right.
So yes.
My question is, as a barbarian, I have an ability where, You roll 2 additional weapon damage dice when determining
Right.
the extra damage.
So
for a
you would
critical
roll
hit.
2 more d6. That 2d6, so that's an extra 12 of your max damage. Then you will roll those 2d6 again.
Okay.
So you're basically rolling 4d6.
Okay. So let's see.
It's too late to be doing
24
this kind of math.
11 is 35 plus 18 is 53. 53 plus whatever the roll is. 5, so that's 58. And then and 2 is 60 plus 11. Oh no, that doesn't go in a second time. So that's an even 60.
Yeah, you shatter a couple scales on the side of its face, and you break out a couple of its teeth with that. That's some solid hitting.
So as he like clocks the black dragon in the face and kind of lands on its back, he's then going to kind of use the momentum of kind of having hit this thing, continue to spin and bring Gertobrelne down on the side of this thing's neck, right above its shoulder for my second attack. It's a 19 to hit.
That is going to miss.
Okay.
Drown, you haven't acted yet since the dragon came out yet, right?
Or haven't.
Which means you're still prone from being thrown against the wall. The tailed attack randomly came up with you for a 32 to hit.
Okay.
Which is going to be 17 points of bludgeoning damage as the tail slams down on you, and then it's your turn.
All right. Not quite bloodied, but only not quite. All right.
You want me to
We'll,
absorb?
What's that?
Brown? Do you want me to absorb some of it?
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't done that for the round, so.
Sure.
The spirits will kind of lash out and step between. 16 points is what they'll absorb, and it takes 16 points of force.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Delightful. All right. Drown will pull himself up to his feet and. Jeez. I think he will bellow and throw himself at the dragon. $22 to hit with the longsword.
That is going to hit.
All right, and that's going to be a super crit and an Eldritch Smite.
Yeah!
There you go. Let's see what this does.
That's how it's done.
How many super crits is that so far? Is that 4?
Four super crits.
Yeah,
Because
between both of them, I
Talmud
think
did
so.
2, Cantriel did 1.
Oh, then 5. Cantrielle did 2.
Cantriel
Cantrielle
did 2?
did 2. Talmud did 2. Drown's done 1.
That's right.
All right, where's the Eldritch Smite? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
That's
There it is. All right, 1d8 per level of spells.
what?
All
Right
right,
again.
so 1 plus another 5 because it's a 5th level spell.
High level
5d8,
damage math.
D8 for D10 because I'm two-handing the sword. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 48, 58. 58 plus 11 is 69. Nice. And then we're going to double that to 138.
You don't kill. Actually, hold on. One what?
138.
Oh. You
Damn.
leap up at this dragon. And this is like those scenes in the movies, like in the trailer for Thor Love and Thunder, where it's the wide shot. Drown's leaping through the air at this dragon that Talmud's just knocked the teeth out of it. How do you want to do this?
Yeah, so Drown comes screaming through the air. All of his tentacle tattoos blaze with that green light, and it writhes down the blade, and it just explodes in this shockwave that looks like the surface of water with a spotlight on it, like this spherical shockwave that blasts out, and the sword of sharpness slices clean through the dragon's neck just above its shoulders.
And as you slice through its neck, you watch this dragon. The acidic blood begins leaking out of it and begins dissolving the dragon away. And it seems to pick up speed as it does so, just until the water all around this area begins to sort of stop churning, and just everywhere this dragon is just dissolving into nothingness. And in the center of the room, as you watch the heads, before it can even fall all the way, just sort of dissolves away. And you notice this one shimmering bit just sort of go, and a black dragonfly and flies away.
Do I get my turn since I go simultaneously with Drown?
You can.
I'm going to fireball that dragonfly.
Then the last thing we see is
At 7th level.
we see is the 4 shimmering dragonfly wings just go as they burn into ash.
Actually, I'm not, just for flavor's sake, I'm not going to cast it at 7th level. I cast it at 5th level, but I use overchannel. So I do max damage.
Yeah, this dragonfly is gone.
And then Rolo immediately zips around behind Cantrielle and climbs up under her hair on her back and is just trembling back there.
And
if you are going to strike at a dragon, it doesn't get to walk away. Yes, I said. It doesn't get to come back to take its vengeance on you.
No.
There's all around you, you hear the sound of creaking. There's bits of wood are falling apart. You hear and feel the shuddering of Bavlorna's cottage as up above you, things are starting to collapse, and you see that there's just a bunch of random junk that is falling down as the cottage, the interior structure has been compromised. It looks like it's going to begin collapsing on itself, and you see Cantriel any moment. That open ice box with the heart in it is going to fall.
How far away is it?
10. It's about 15 feet up, and another maybe 10. It's about 25 feet away.
Oh, she misty steps right up to the heart. But before she does, she turns to Drown. Catch me on the way down. And so she misty steps up, grabs the heart, and
Featherfall.
Turns around and jumps.
I'll featherfall her.
Heart held in hand.
As you grab this heart, you leap back down, and you see from one of the other rooms, you see where everything is sort of sliding in towards the central area, and you see what looks like a not just a stag's skull, but it has a bit of decoration to it, and it matches the description that Clapperclaw gave you of his head.
Yeah.
Because you're feather falling, you can easily snag this stag skull too on the way down. As you land, Drown, because she's feather falling, you don't have any problem to catch her. But the cottage all around you is starting to implode. Next to you, Fig, you hear, "This way," as Giselle is motioning you towards the door that she was in, and you see that there is another door that opens and a set of stairs that lead down to the water level. As you all follow out, and the rest of you begin to see it's one of the crewmates, Giselle.
Just for the record, I'm going to cast Tensor's Floating Disc to put Hermes on.
Yeah, I think Fig would have grabbed like Hermes because he has his tools, so he can use an action to heal Hermes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's even better then.
Yeah. So as he's running, like you see Fig is like grabbing tools from his pocket or from his hat and like fixing Hermes, and within a very short amount of time, Hermes is back up.
Soothing sound of a ratcheting socket wrench.
Yeah. You all, as you begin to descend the stairs, you see that there are a number of skiffs, and there are quite a few Harengon brigands that are on these skiffs. In the middle of this area, all of the fog seems to have dissipated, and you can now see the whole of Downfall. And you see there are dozens of these skiffs, and there are probably 20 or 30 of these Harengon. But at the bottom, welcoming Giselle, is Arnold, who had been basically taken over leadership of the Harengons, and had brought the Harengons to Downfall, and they are there to take you all down and bring you back to shore. Nice. You find when you land that waiting on the shore is Octavio. A couple of the Harengon brigands are standing there. We weren't sure what to do with this one. He was just wandering around playing his flute. Seemed harmless.
Yes.
I don't mean to harm to anyone.
Did I see any other bottles up there?
No.
Oh, wait. She got the heart. Never mind. I'm pretty. That's what the heart is. I knew that. All along. Intelligence of 20. Boom.
Yeah, Octavio's just standing there. His shirt's a little bit open, so you can just sort of see the edge of where that opening in his chest is, where the paper heart is.
Could I do an Arcana check?
What are you checking?
How to get the heart back into Octavio.
You don't need to make an Arcana check. You feel... I think with your knowledge of the Feywild and just the weirdness of the arcane here, that just the act of giving him the heart will allow him to retake it.
Okay, so then Cantriel will go up to Octavio with the bow thrown over her shoulder. As she's walking over to him, she'll call forth Melody. Mother, I think you need to come out for this one. And have the mother by her side as she goes to her brother, and she will put the heart in one arm as she goes, and she loops her hand up to Octavio's head and pulls his head down to hers and basically just rests forehead to forehead with him. And as she pulls him closer, she moves the heart from her arm into his hands, and she whispers to him, "You are the one who always had the heart and the souls." And she just sort of squeezes the back of his neck as she does that, and I can kind of see Melody sort of hovering between the two of them as the heart almost starts to melt between Cantriel and Octavio and fuses into Octavio's chest.
As it absorbs into his chest, and the the hole in his chest closes over it. It leaves a scar, like an open heart surgery scar. And you see this moment of, first, the paleness of this elf. More color seems to flow into him as his heart is there to pump blood through him. And you can feel the warmth begin to radiate where your foreheads are touching. And he seems almost surprised to see you standing there. And then to see a version of Melody. It's been so long. But I thought making the deal with that hag would take away the pain of losing you all. But it just made me empty, made me forget. I am so glad it was you, Cantriel, that brought it back. And he sort of grasps at his chest, not like he's in intense pain, but more like discomfort. It is back. But I feel that it is irrevocably broken.
Sometimes the pieces come back together in ways you don't expect. It'll take time.
This is true. And you feel an arcane vibration in Sempre Cavatina. As the Octavio rune on your bow illuminates. And I will tell you that I will have to make the adjustment to the homebrew bow. But basically, as the rune illuminates, did I say that right? As the rune illuminates. In my head, it sounded like, I thought for a second I said as the lunar illuminates.
Nope, nailed it. You're good.
Like, okay. As it illuminates, Octavio looks at you and he says, "Where you have to go, I know I cannot go. I don't have the strength that you have. But I will protect you however I can." And the rune sort of, as it illuminates bright and then just settles in, you know that this rune which is a combination of Draconic and Elvish for Octavio's name. Once per day, you can use the bow to cast the shield spell on yourself. And then Octavio, I just sort of imagine this moment in the middle of this swamp as all of the Harengon are sort of dealing with everybody, making sure the rest of you are okay, and maybe a couple of them are helping you, Fig, to sort of make sure Hermes is up and running. There seems to be a couple of Harengon off somewhere in the distance that are dealing with battling some putting down the coup, as it were. The camera's sort of slowly panning around these three figures of Octavio and Cantriel and Melody reunited. And Octavio looks up at you finally and says, I know where Sonata is. She's with a Chardalon. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
I don't want to see Grandpappy again.
All right, we ran a little bit longer, not too bad, considering that was a double boss battle. But
Made quick work of that dragon.
yeah, you did.
Good God.
I didn't expect that you were going to obliterate the dragonfly, which, for the record, was just a dragonfly. But
don't care.
You can't be too you can't be too safe when it comes to the Feywild and the things you're dealing with. As a little bit of an epilogue, though, there is somewhere elsewhere within the realm that was once Prismere. There is a village, and we see a Harengon, an older Harengon man that is carrying over his shoulders. He's got a couple buckets, and he walks up to an old-fashioned pump well, and he puts his buckets down, and he fills one of his buckets with water. He sets the other bucket down, and the water turns thick and starts going, and he stands back in surprise as this thick goo starts spilling out of this into the bucket, and it overflows the bucket. And in this thick goo, we see dozens and dozens of sets of eyes as the goo sort of reforms into a vaguely humanoid shape with large buggy eyes and a large mouth. It pulls itself up, struggling to hold its form, and it begins to limp away, and we hear,
"My sisters will hear about this,"
as Bavlorna Blightstraw reforms herself weakly and begins trudging into the distance. And that is where we are actually going to end. All right. That was our session 12 return after almost a month. Let's not wait that long before we play again. Let's do it again next week. And we'll continue on with the adventures of Wild Beyond the Witchlight, as we'll figure out what the Dawnbringers are going to do, what their next move is, and how they want to proceed. So I hope you will return next week. Of course, you can catch on Monday night, so you can catch the return of the Scribes and Scrolls, the Candlekeep Mysteries. Will be right here at 8 p.m. I'm pretty sure this weekend, because I haven't been able to do it for over almost 2 weeks because of Call to Adventure. Saturday and or Sunday, I'll be doing some crafting, live streaming and mini painting and stuff right here on the channel. So tune in for that. Thank you everybody who has who tuned in tonight. Thank you for all the people that supported with subscriptions, and there were some gift subs that went out in there. We appreciate that. And if you are somebody that likes to lurk in the chat and you don't necessarily participate directly, we appreciate you all the same. And of course, I want to say a huge thank you to these awesome players who, this is the first time in quite a while we've had everybody here, and I like it. So thank you, V, Dan, M, Ted, Jeremy, and Katie, without whom this would just be me talking to myself for a couple hours. With that, we're going to go ahead and end this stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want.
Animated
Damn it, I came back!